thinking about bringing a Cane Corso into your life. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But when it comes to choosing between a male and a female, that can feel like a pretty huge decision, right?
Yeah, it's a big one.
We're going to dive deep today and hopefully equip you to make that choice confidently. Making sure you're finding the perfect match for you and your future furry friend.
Absolutely. And it's not as simple as just choosing a breed, right? It's about, like, finding a dog, a companion whose needs and personality really mesh well with your own.
Yeah, for sure. And I think when you're considering a Cane Corso, you're already kind of thinking about a dog with presence, right?
Mm-hmm.
For anyone listening who maybe needs just like a really quick refresher, we're talking about those big Italian dogs,
Yeah.
historically bred as guardians.
Mm-hmm.
So impressive stature, unwavering loyalty. But with that comes a breed that needs an owner who's ready to handle their unique needs.
Right. And even something as, like, basic as size is a bigger factor with a Cane Corso than it is with, say, a Chihuahua, right?
Totally. So let's get into it. Let's talk about those key differences between males and females.
Hmm.
And maybe the most obvious starting point would be size and strength, right?
Right.
Our sources all agree that the males are notably larger and more muscular.
Yeah.
But what does that actually mean for you as the owner, right?
Right.
Like, imagine walking a dog that could easily top 120 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Are you, like, really prepared for that kind of strength? Especially if, something catches their eye and they decide to make a beeline for it?
Yeah, it's not just about being pulled off your feet, which is certainly a consideration.
Yeah.
It's also about having the physical capability to manage, like, a dog that size in all sorts of situations.
Yeah.
Like training, vet visits, even just, getting them around the house.
It's like trying to, like, fit a Great Dane in a smart car or something.
Exactly.
It's just not going to work.
It's just not a good fit. And speaking of fit, we should talk about temperament.
Okay, yeah.
Now, all the sources mention this. Males are dominant, females are docile, stereotype.
Which I'm guessing we shouldn't take as gospel, right?
Definitely not.
Okay, good.
Just like people, dogs have individual personalities. It's more about understanding tendencies than it is about, like, really boxing them in.
Right.
But on average, male Cane Corsos do tend to be a bit more assertive and independent, while females might be a tad more adaptable and eager to please.
So you might get lucky and get a male who's like a total cuddle bug or a female who's like queen of her castle.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely. But in general, those male Cane Corsos with their extra energy, they're going to need a lot of exercise and mental stimulation to thrive. We're talking, like, at least 2 hours of dedicated activity every single day.
Wow. 2 hours.
At least.
That's like a part-time job. I mean, I love a good hike. I love getting outside.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be real. Like, imagine it's a rainy Tuesday evening. Your favorite show just dropped a new season on whatever streaming service you're using, and your male Cane Corso's bouncing off the walls because he needs his 2-hour adventure walk.
Yeah.
Could you commit to that?
Yeah, that's the question.
Even when you'd much rather be, like, curled up on the couch?
Exactly. And that's just one piece of the puzzle when it comes to the whole energy levels thing.
Right.
We haven't even gotten to, like, the fun stuff yet.
Yes.
Grooming, feeding, like, all the day-to-day realities of what it's like to share your life with a giant canine.
Right. And some of those realities can get, from what I hear, can get pretty hairy.
Literally.
We'll talk about all that right after this. All right. So we're back, and I think we're ready to get into some of the, like, the nitty-gritty,
Yeah.
the actual, like, care.
The real deal.
The real deal of Cane Corso care.
Mm.
The stuff that separates those, like, drool-covered couch potatoes from the pristine pups.
Yes, and we're starting with the fur, those majestic Cane Corso coats that require a little bit of upkeep.
Oh, yeah, because who doesn't love a little extra dog hair, spicing up their wardrobe?
Right.
Little extra flavor.
Well, if you're not a fan of constantly lint rolling your clothes, you might want to brace yourself.
Yeah.
Especially if you're kind of leaning towards a male Cane Corso.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Well, remember how we talked about the males having those thicker coats?
Yeah, those impressive manes.
Those manes come at a price.
Which is...
More frequent brushing.
Oh, okay.
Think weekly, maybe even twice a week, depending on what time of year it is.
So not exactly like a low-maintenance breed if you're someone who's not into grooming.
Not really, no.
Okay, good to know.
And while we're on the topic of those thicker coats, they also tend to shed more.
Oh, boy.
And males, with their extra testosterone, often take the shedding crown.
Oh, wow. So it's like double whammy.
It can be a lot.
More fur, more often.
Yeah, so maybe invest in a good vacuum cleaner if you're thinking male Cane Corso.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of things that might require a bit of cleanup,
Yes.
the males are also known for, shall we say, marking their territory a little more enthusiastically.
Yes, leaving their own personal fragrance on every fire hydrant in like a 5-mile radius.
Exactly. So maybe not the best walking companion if you're trying to, like, stroll through a pristine park and keep it that way.
Right.
Yeah, nobody wants to be that dog owner.
Exactly.
Right.
Nobody wants to be the dog owner.
So we've talked about the grooming, which sounds like a bit more intense than I maybe would have thought.
Well, it can be.
But let's talk about feeding these giant dogs.
Yes.
Because I can only imagine with, like, a giant male Cane Corso,
Mm-hmm.
we're talking a lot of food, right?
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Remember those size differences that we talked about?
Mm-hmm.
Well, bigger dogs eat more, and those massive males can eat twice as much as their female counterparts.
Wow, twice as much.
Yeah.
So we're not just talking like an extra bag of kibble here and there.
No.
We're talking double the grocery bills.
It's like feeding 2 dogs in one.
Oh, my gosh.
So if you're on a tight budget, a female Cane Corso might be a little bit easier on the wallet.
Yeah, that's definitely food for thought.
Food for thought, yeah.
But let's not forget about those vet bills as well.
Right.
Because no matter how much we love our furry friends, they do have a way of costing us money in ways we don't expect.
Right.
And speaking of unexpected, are there any differences between the males and females when it comes to potential, like, health concerns?
That's a really important question.
Yeah.
And the answer is yes.
Okay.
While any breed can have health predispositions, Cane Corsos do have a few specific ones worth knowing.
Like what?
In males, the sources mention things like testicular cancer and prostate problems.
Okay.
Those are potential issues.
And for the females, it sounds like the big one is pyometra,
Yes.
which is basically an infection of the uterus, right?
That's right. And it can be pretty serious, often requiring surgery.
Right.
And while it can happen to, any unspayed female dog, it does tend to be more common in larger breeds like Cane Corsos.
So yeah, that's definitely another one to consider. And I know we're kind of talking about some like heavy stuff here,
Yeah.
but we don't want anyone listening to think we're trying to scare them off or anything.
Right. Absolutely not.
It's more about just, kind of going in with your eyes wide open.
Exactly. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your dog's health.
For sure. Yeah.
And that's why choosing a responsible breeder who really prioritizes health testing is so crucial. And that's regardless of whether you end up with, choosing a male or a female.
Right. And that's a whole other conversation.
Exactly.
But I think before we even get there, we got to make the decision, right? Male or female.
Right. It's decision time.
It's decision time. So, dear listener, no pressure, but the decision is yours. But really, I think it all comes down to finding the right fit for your life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I think it's helpful to think of it less like choosing and more like uncovering, Like which of these paths feels kind of more aligned with what you're looking for in a canine companion and in your lifestyle.
Ooh, I like that. So it's almost like a process of self-discovery, but with like a really awesome furry friend by your side at the end.
There you go.
I love it. So for our listeners who are like maybe picturing themselves with their Cane Corso, a year, 2 years down the road,
Mm-hmm.
what are some like key questions they can ask themselves now to figure out which path they're leaning towards?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's helpful to consider your experience level.
Okay.
Like, what's your experience with large breeds or even just with dogs in general?
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you're totally new to the world of like big dog ownership, a female Cane Corso with her, typically more manageable size and temperament might be a smoother place to start.
Like learning to drive, right?
Yeah.
Like you probably wouldn't want your first car to be like a sports car, right? You'd probably want to start with something a little less, what's the word I'm looking for? High maintenance.
Exactly.
There you go.
And then after experience level, I think it's important to like really think about the time commitment.
Yeah, okay.
Cane Corsos, they aren't exactly known for being low maintenance dogs.
Right.
They need training, they need socialization, and they need, a good amount of exercise to really like thrive.
Yeah.
So think like rain or shine,
Mm-hmm.
even when your favorite show drops a new season on that streaming service.
Even then.
Can you realistically provide that?
Yeah, because that dog's going to love you no matter what.
Oh, absolutely.
But they still need those walks.
Yes, they do. And it's not even just about the physical exercise either.
Okay.
Cane Corsos, they're smart.
Okay.
They need mental stimulation to keep those big brains engaged.
Oh, like puzzle toys and stuff.
Yeah, puzzle toys, training sessions, even just like interactive games in the backyard.
Okay.
You know, a bored Cane Corso can very quickly turn into like a destructive Cane Corso.
Oh, no.
So keeping their minds busy is key.
Okay.
Yeah.
So physical exercise, mental exercise, this is a lot. I'm getting tired just thinking about it.
Well, and speaking of like, you know, what kind of energy you want from your dog,
Okay, yeah.
like picture your ideal dog in your mind's eye, right?
Okay.
Picturing.
Are they like a playful, goofy companion,
Mm-hmm.
always up for a game of fetch?
Okay.
Or are you like looking for more of a like majestic presence, a dog who's like dignified, a bit more independent, happy to hang out by your side while you read a book?
Right. So two very different energies.
Very different and both lovely, but, they paint different pictures of what like daily life with that dog would actually look like.
Right. Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong answer here.
Okay. Good.
It's just about like what feels right for you.
Yeah. What feels most aligned with your lifestyle and who you are. Exactly. It's like you're finding that, like that missing piece of your personal puzzle.
Yeah.
You don't want to force a piece that doesn't quite fit.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
This isn't a jigsaw puzzle. We're not forcing anything.
Exactly. It's not about fitting a mold. It's about, finding a companion that really complements your life.
Yeah.
In a way that just feels like natural and fulfilling.
I love it. Yeah. So as we kind of like wrap up our deep dive here into the wonderful world of Cane Corso's male versus female edition.
Yes.
I think if there's like one big takeaway, it's that there's not a one-size-fits-all answer.
Absolutely not.
Right. It's really about understanding the breed, but then also understanding yourself.
Yes.
And kind of finding that sweet spot where those two circles overlap.
Well said.
Right.
Yeah, well said. And remember, this is just the beginning of your journey. You know, like keep researching, keep asking questions, and, most importantly, trust your gut.
Yeah, trust your gut.
You got this.
You got this. Now go forward and find your Cane Corso.
Yes.
And until next time, keep on learning.